There were more than 20,000 Nigerian students who studied in the United States last year in 2024. Nigeria and Nigerians are among the top 10 international student population studying in the United States as well. And some data also indicate that Nigerians are the foreign population in the United States, the largest foreign population in the United States to hold a PhD degree. So they are the most educated international population in the United States. Good morning and welcome to the Global Scholar Gateway, your premier guide to study abroad. My name is Dr. Yaro, your host. And as promised, every other week, we join here on the Global Scholar Gateway to share with you some insight on how to secure admission to some of the top universities in the world. And not only admission, but also on how to secure scholarship in some of those universities in the United States, in Canada, and the UK. And this morning, I have with me one of the exceptional, talented students who was able to secure admission to a top university in the United States. Not only he was admitted to that top institution in the US, he was also able to get scholarship, and he went on to become a successful scientist in one of the most prestigious health organizations in the world. You will get the chance to learn more about Kayode today. And without further ado, let me bring on my brother Kayode. How are you doing, Kayode?
Yeah, I'm doing very good. Nice to have you on your show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And before we dive deeper into our conversation, do you mind introducing yourself to our viewers?
Yes, I can. My name is Kayode Adeyemi, and I'm a Nigerian. And I cannot introduce myself completely without saying also that I'm a child of God. So I grew up in Nigeria, and I had my bachelor degree in Nigeria in microbiology. Then I worked a little bit in the hospital in Nigeria before on research, and then I came to the United States for my master's. Then I pushed on to get into roles of senior scientist at the Pennsylvania at the Eurofins Lancaster Laboratory. Then I moved on to become a scientist at the National Institute of Health, so which I'm currently doing now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we will, walk our viewers step by step on everything that you've just mentioned. And before we get there, to the people who are watching us live, please type in the comment where you're joining us from. If you're watching from Lagos, please type in the comments. If you're watching from Abuja, from the United States, from anywhere in the world, just please type in the comment section. And also, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please do so. That's going to help us grow, and we will be able to continue bringing you some of the talented individuals to share their experiences with you so that you too can get that opportunity to get admission to a university in the United States, in Canada, or the UK, and get scholarships to study and make your dreams come true. Please type in the comment where you are watching us from, and we will recognize you as well. So, Kayode, you gave us a brief introduction about your journey in Nigeria, but I want to walk our viewers step by step. Where were you born? Do you mind sharing with us where you were born, and also where did you go to primary school in Nigeria?
Yeah, yes, of course I can share that. So I grew up. I was born in Ibadan, that is Nigeria, Oyo State, and but I grew up in Ondo State, which is
Okay,
Ondo Town, and
Ibadan.
yeah,
I have a very, very good of mine who is doing some amazing stuff in Ibadan. She works in the recycling industry, and yeah, hi to her if she's watching us today. So yeah, you were born in Ibadan and you grew up in Edo State, you
yeah,
said?
I grew up in Ondo State, which is Ondo Town, So
Okay.
Ondo Town is like a
So that's
center.
where you went to primary school.
Yeah, I went to primary school in Ondo Town. That is CAC Primary School, Okeshegun in Ondo. Then
Mhm.
I went to secondary school in same Ondo Town. I went to Jubilee County Grammar School, though it's not really it's a popular school, but it's not really. So I went to Jubilee County Grammar School. Then I finished. Then I had this like 4 year gap before I started my bachelor degree. So I actually finished 2008. Then I started my bachelor degree in 2012. So like 4 years gap.
Why was that gap?
Yeah, in Nigeria, there's a lot of. I actually wanted to study medicine.
Mhm.
So medicine and surgery, that is the hottest course in the world, not only Nigeria. And I tried my jam. In the first jam, I scored like 230 something. Then the second jam, I scored like 282. Then the third jam was like 230 something. So it wasn't enough to get into medicine. So those years wasted. I won't call it wasted. I gained some opportunities and learned some lessons through those years, those 4 years. And that is why there's a gap of 4 years before I started my bachelor degree.
So you primarily try to get into medical school in Nigeria. You attempted some exams and they didn't work out, and that resulted in you observing, I would say, 4 gap years. And
Yeah.
what did you do during those 4 years without going to school? And yeah, what did you do?
Yeah, perfect question actually. So during those 4 years, I was helping my dad, you know, also with my mom, and just being kind of close to my family and studying hard for the exam, because studying hard for the exam is also a work on itself. So I have to study hard for the exams, for the JAMB exams. During those 4 years, I work at home. I also do some other, you know, work to get money. That kind of small works that you just make sure you are not idle at work at home, and get to know people that are of like-minded with myself, and
Mhm.
go close to them. We share ideas and share the passion to remember the vision. So I will not forget that I need to go back to school, even though I have like 4 years gap. Even though I was the best graduate student in my secondary school. I was the best graduate in my secondary school. I had the highest
Wow.
results in my O levels, but I
Mhm.
couldn't get into university direct. Immediately I finished my high school. So
Wow.
if it, yeah, if it happens to me like that, it shows that
Was
it's a
it
very.
was that just because you were trying to get into a medical school, or is it the case for any major? You can be the best graduating student at the high school level and struggle to get admission into a university in Nigeria.
Yeah, it's not a generalized experience. It's because I'm looking for the best. I want to be a medical doctor, so I was trying to go into medical school. So that is bas- particularly for people that want to study medicine. At the end of the day, you discover that the university will give you a course to study, which is not your major interest, like studying microbiology or biochemistry, botany, or zoology. So that is kind of narrow experience for people that want to study medicine, want to study law, want to study like accounting, something like great course. Every courses are great actually, but other courses that are highly profiled. That is the experience that we must have, because in Nigeria the jam is once in a year, and once you miss it in a year, you are going to miss it for the whole year. So you're going to wait for the next year to write again, and to prepare and to write again. So you have to get the score that matches the right expected score from the school. So that is why I had that 4 years gap.
Okay, and then eventually you ended up gaining admission to a university. You mentioned earlier that you studied biology, right? Uh, Oh, yeah,
Yes.
how was that possible? How did you get admission to that university, and which one was that?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, as I told you, most Nigerian will understand what jump score is. The highest score is 400, right? And
Mhm.
so the first score, I had a very low grade, which is 231. Second score, I had a little bit better grade, that is 282. Then the third score, I didn't write for the third year. The fourth year, I had like
Mhm.
225, was also low. So at the end of the day, I have to change my mind. Oh man, I have to study microbiology. I have to keep this this vision is not dead, but let me push forward to what my hand can actually get, because 4 years at home is not a joke, right? So
Absolutely not.
I have to stick to what I have, like microbiology. Here I come. And yeah, that's why I was able to get admission to Obafemi University, Nigeria, that's in Ife. So I got in 2012 and I finished 2017. So actually, I went to Ife for 1 year before I got enrolled into the school. It's because of my passion for school, passion for getting better, passion to become great. I have to leave home for 1 year and go to the school. Even when I was not admitted, I was going close to the student and in the school, rented a room, stay with somebody, different experiences, do some jobs to make sure that I sustain myself. So I was able to
Wow.
get integrated to the school even before my program started.
Mhm. Wow, that is a lesson that you've taught us all right now. A famous quote that I like is, "Tell me about your network, and I will tell you, what you would become in the next 5 years." You try to get admission into universities, graduating as the best students at the high school level in your school district, but it didn't work out. That compelled you to spend 4 gap years, and then you didn't just sit down. You spent some time going to a university, spending time with some of those students, learning on how they were able to get into that school. Eventually, you ended up gaining admission to that university. I want us, or I want you to tell us how did that passion, to study microbiology come from? Where did it come from?
Yeah, so it actually comes from finding an alternative to what I can study, and also having the mindset that, oh, if I study microbiology, I can switch to medicine maybe as my second year or third year. Even I can leave microbiology after I finish, I can go back to medicine. So that is how the passion came. And also, microbiology is kind of paramedical. So
Mhm.
it's not medical, but it's paramedical, it's supportive to medicine. So it's in the same direction. So
Yeah.
yeah, like
That,
biochemistry, like other courses.
okay. Yeah, that's right. So you studied microbiology in Nigeria. You completed your bachelor's degree, as you mentioned in the introduction. And then what did you do after you graduated with your bachelor's degree in microbiology from Nigeria?
Yeah, so what I did, what helped me, God helped me, and I pray about my steps actually. But immediately I finished from my bachelor degree in Nigeria, you have to do a compulsory 1 year NYC, right? So NYC is National Youth Service Corps. So before the NYC, I also got a job offer to become a teacher, chemistry, biology, mathematics teacher in a high school, which is in the Ondo State, which is not in Ife where I schooled. So I have to go back to Ondo State, which is Akure, to teach. So I taught for 1 year before the NYC started. So during those 1 year, I was able to also groom some youths to be able to be passionate about their lives. And then I move on to NYC, which I did in another states in Nigeria, which is the northern part of Nigeria, which is Zamfara State. So I was in NYC for 1 year. And so that 1 year, I also taught, it's all teaching for like 2 years after my like bachelor degree. And from
Mhm.
there, yeah.
Yeah. Teaching. So yeah, we share some similar background. I would say after I graduated with my bachelor's degree, also I went on and taught at the high school level for 7 years before coming to the US for studies. And what are some of the things that you learned during those teaching years when you worked as a teacher in Nigeria? What are some of the things that you learned from that experience, and how did you grow personally and professionally?
Yes. So from teaching years, one thing I learned is that when I see my students in the class, then I was like, what I'm teaching them looks so small, so insignificant for at the present. But I now see the potential of what I'm teaching them the next 10 years. I was like, okay, so the little thing that I have now has a great potential in the future. So we should not overlook what we have currently. Maybe in the class you are teaching them like neutralization reaction in chemistry. That seems to be a very simple concept that acid and base react together from salt and water, right? But that is not so simple. It has potential in the future that if you are serious with it, it can take you to places. So when I see people like, oh, I just studied this course and I become like this, so it gives me the passion. Like these children that I'm teaching also have a great future. Like it's also drive me like, I must be a role model to them. I must be able to show them like there's a benefit in education. I want to say I'm not in a category of people that says education is a scam. So I always tell my students during those period. Another thing that also taught me lesson was that part of my job during those teaching period was that I was a boarding house masters. A boarding house master, like I take care of the children. You wake them up in the morning. You pray for them. They pray. You read the Bible. You teach them how to read their books. So that also taught me how to mentor people. So that made me to mentor people to think about that and also see why I should be mentored. Why I should be mentored. So
Yeah,
not just giving out, but also to get in from people that are higher than me, people that you know. So it's a
yeah,
kind of a setting that made me to learn humility. To learn humility because
yeah. You
remember
learn
the first time,
humility.
yeah, the first time I graduated as my best students in the school, it took me 4 years to get into school. That is humility. It taught me humility. Then
Absolutely.
I finished. I finished my undergrad. I have 2 years. I have to work as a teacher. That's humility. So I wanted to become a doctor. Now I was teaching. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, definitely. You were humbled by a lot of the experiences that you've gone through. And something that you've said that, stood up to me was when you mentioned right now that you are not of those people who believe that education is a scam.
yeah,
I am of the same belief as well. I believe in the value and power of education. And I think it's Nelson Mandela who actually mentioned that education is the most powerful weapon that we can use to transform our world. So whenever, what I usually tell the younger people, my younger brothers and sisters, whenever you have an opportunity to educate yourself, to learn something, you will realize, take advantage of it, and you will realize that you will grow personally. You will learn a lot of stuff. You will learn how to navigate in our current world, which has become a global village. You need to learn from the people from various backgrounds. You need to be able to be cross-culturally competent. As I said, we living today in a global village where when you don't have those cross-cultural competency, when you are not educated enough to interact with your the people from your comfort zone, the people from your country, your community, and beyond that, to interact positively with the people from all over the world, it will become difficult for you to be competitive in the current world we are living in. So I too believe in the power of education. And Kayode, I want us to share gear, but before we do that, let me take the time to recognize some of the people who are watching us live, and they are commenting. And please keep putting in the comment where you're watching us from. Shout out to um, Muna. Thank you for joining us, and also shout out to Salvation watching from Lagos, Ene as well watching from Lagos, and world update watching from Lagos as well. We have a lot of people watching us from Lagos. Thank you so much for joining us live. And again, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. That's going to help us grow, and we will be able to continue bringing you some of the amazing scholars who have been doing some amazing stuff around the world. I also want to say thank you to Faole Dorcas, who is watching us from Lagos, Nigeria as well. And we also have Ife Ani. Thank you, watching from Nigeria. So thank you so much all for joining us live this morning. And again, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Kayode, now back to you. And as I said, I want to change a little bit here. You mentioned that after graduation, you went on and worked a little bit in Nigeria. And then you were interested in also studying abroad. You mentioned that you studied abroad in the United States. Before we talk about the university where you gained admission in the United States, I want you to share with us why did you look for opportunities to study overseas? What sparked that interest in you?
Yeah, let me first say there are two reasons why I chose to study abroad. Two categories of reasons. The first one is inherent reasons, and the second one is external reasons. So I call it inherent because there is a drive inside of me that says I want to do better. I want to do better. I want to increase. I want to improve. I want to contribute passionately. I want to be. I want to go beyond the status quo. I want to do great in my profession. So that drive is inherent and it's not based on external push. And that drive is due to something deposited in me, maybe when I was young, I don't know the time, maybe through prayer or anything. But I just have the passion to contribute so greatly to my field, to contribute to the humanity in any capacity I have. So now I see that how can I do that? Nigeria is a great country, it's a nice country, but there's some limitation to resources and some other things, some barriers which I may not solve. Right, I cannot solve it. I'm not the president. The president is doing their best, but I cannot solve this problem. So I have to find a place where I can actually exhibit those potentials of mine. So I look around, look at United Kingdom, look at China, look at United States, look at, I didn't think I look at Canada. I look at those countries and look for opportunities there. I look for scholarship. And even while doing that, I was able to help others too. But second reasons, which I said that my second reason, which is external reasons, is due to friends. I have friends of like-minded, that's like-mindedness, that have the same passion like me. So we encourage each other, and also my advisor, my supervisor at work, my supervisor in my undergrad studies, he was so helpful, and it's still helpful right now. So those people, they have experience outside the country and they know what the outside the country holds. So they push me, they told me, you need to push on, you need to try it. And at the same time, they want me to also be in Nigeria to contribute positively in Nigeria. So it's a kind of two-way things that I have to figure out and say, what's the best thing for me? So there are two reasons, inherent reasons and external reasons. So I have good friends around me that have the same passion like me.
All right, awesome. So you mentioned two main reasons that motivated you, that sparked that interest in gaining an opportunity to study abroad. The first one being some inherent reasons, personal to yourself, your values, your belief in the power, as you mentioned earlier, of high quality education and the things that you wanted to do to contribute to society, to contribute to humanity. And knowing that, yes, coming from Nigeria, as you mentioned, it's a great country. It's the first economy in Africa, the largest country in terms of population as well in Africa. But it has its limitation, access to quality education being one of those. And the second reason that you mentioned was also your connection, the network. You had friends who've studied abroad. You have colleagues who've also pushed you somehow to look into opportunities to study abroad. Do you have some of those friends in mind that you want to mention, and how they guided you? What were some of the conversation? Because I want this session to be like a lesson to the people who are watching us, how they too can navigate the admission system overseas, how you went about that. How did you start the conversation with your friends to identify universities? You mentioned Canada, you mentioned the United States. Who are some of those friends that you talked to, and what were some of the conversations that you engaged in with those friends, so that our viewers can also learn from your experience and get the opportunity to gain admission to some of those prestigious universities around the world?
Yeah, perfect. Applying to schools and looking for schools and opportunities outside Nigeria or anywhere you are could be very stressful. So it could be very stressful, I'm telling you. So you need a support system. You need people of like-mindedness that we can discuss together. So going through the question, how did I get to know about these friends? So I served in Zamfara State. So, and from there, divinely, I have people, the same young person like me, that we have the same mindset. So everybody talk about graduate school. Everybody talk about applications, and they are very fervent. We met in church. All of us met in church, and we're also fervent in the Lord. We are serving God, but we're also talking about applications. Most of the time, we stay back in church because we don't have electricity in our house. So we stay back in church, use our computers, look at our SOPs, prepare for GRE, encourage each other. And these friends, let me mention their name. These friends, I'll mention their name. These friends are not looking for shortcuts to graduate school. We're not looking for schools without GRE. We're not looking for school without TOEFL. We're not looking for schools that takes lesser grade. We want the best, so we'll go for the best. We write we wrote the GRE, we wrote the TOEFL, we do everything, get our passport. So all of us, everybody, we're in the US now. Everybody in the US. And one has gone to different countries. He's in Sweden. He came to US recently. He has a scholarship that I have to take him to 3 countries. So all of us, we are out of Nigeria. We are doing good by God. And
right there, I think this teaches us purpose, determination.
Yeah.
2 things. Have purpose.
Yeah.
You mentioned that your goal, you were in a circle with individuals whose goals were to study abroad. You formed that circle, and you work together on that. Prepare to take the exams that are required to gain admission to graduate school, GRE being one of those tests, knowing the fact that if you want to travel abroad for studies, the minimum that you should have is a passport, and you work together to make sure that you all had your passports. And as you mentioned, right now, today, all of those people in that circle are abroad studying, working. And you also mentioned that you come from a humble background, not having electricity at home, staying at church to take advantage of the computer lab that was available, or having access to electricity and the internet to look for those opportunities. That just teaches us having purpose. It is very important to clearly have your purpose written down somewhere and work towards accomplishing that purpose. Kayode is a loud example of having purpose, having determination, and working toward accomplishing those goals. You can go ahead on what you were saying, Kayode. And let me first recognize some of the people that just joined. I have Belinda with us, and she said, I like the fact that he was deliberate about doing better, wanting better. Thank you so much, Belinda, for tuning in. And I also want to recognize Kayode Samson, who is watching us from Lagos. Thank you so much for joining, Kayode. Back to you, Kayode. Oops, it looks like we are losing Kayode. You've frozen. Okay, well, we're back with you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So yeah, you were talking about your friends, the circle that you had, and they are all studying abroad. And then I had to take a couple of minutes to talk about having purpose and also being determined to accomplish the purposes that we set for ourselves, the goals that we set for ourselves.
Yes. So as I said before, so those kind of friends, they are kind of community. Though we don't call it any group. It's not like we create a WhatsApp group. It's just that we meet and we talk, we encourage each other, we play, we talk about schools, and we take it so serious. We wrote GRE, we wrote TOEFL, we discuss, because if we're alone on individual, it would be like a stick of broom that is very weak to break. So if we're individual, we are not going to get the potential to the sustainability to continue that passion. So we have to encourage ourselves. We have to tell each other this is the right thing. In fact, we give ourselves schools to apply to. We talk about things and that. So that kind of friends those kind of friends are very important. You don't want to, it doesn't mean that you are not going to interact with people that doesn't have this mindset, but it's just that you have a place where if you need an information, you can quickly talk to a friend and the same person have the same mindset towards you. So let me mention their name. One of them is Joseph Eniafe, is in Louisiana. Adejuma Moses is in Clarkson. Adema Jones is in Clarkson. Bro Peace, Samuel is in Cleveland, Ohio. And yeah, so all of us are outside the country. So doing what we love to do. It's not the glamour of, oh, we are outside the country. It's not that glamour. It's about the glamour to contribute something to humanity.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
It's about the push, something better. Because I don't want to be a consumer throughout my life. I want to contribute something to life. So I need to be in an environment like in the US to be able to do that. And that is what I'm doing by the grace of God.
That is powerful. Coming from humble beginnings to being on the top of your game. As I mentioned, you are working today with one of the top health institutions on earth, and we will get a chance to dive deeper into that. Thank you again to those who are watching us live from Lagos, from Abuja, from Kenya, from the United States. Please do share this live as well. Tell your friends that we are live. They can join us and learn from the extraordinary experience of Kayode that we have with us this morning. Please share, and invite your friends to join us live as well. Now, Kayode, let's talk about the university that accepted you in the United States. And how did you first hear about that university? And how did you go about getting admission to that school?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So as we know, at the circles of friends that we talk about graduate school, we know that one of the important things is to have a publication, a research article published, because that will boost your profile. So because of that, I have to push towards publishing my undergraduate thesis, which I did on isolating Staphylococcus aureus from the air. So I have to publish it, even though there was a restriction that that project is not so strong, I shouldn't publish it. But because of my intention, like I want to get to graduate school, I have to publish it. So when I published the articles, I was able to create an account with ResearchGate. And ResearchGate is for researchers all over the world that you write a publication, you have an account with them. You can see people that read the paper and stuff like that. So one day, after having my ResearchGate account, something came to my mind that what if reaching out to the professors in ResearchGate that have similar research like me? ResearchGate will suggest to you professors that have similar research like you. So I have to go through the professor list on ResearchGate, look at the article they published, look at the author, the first author, the last author, or the corresponding author of the article. I have to check it. Yeah, like this. You go to my first research there is my undergraduate project. So you go to that one, isolation of Staphylococcus aureus. So I have to reach out to the professors. Then I have to come up with an email. And I wrote to the professors on this ResearchGate, through ResearchGate, not through the email. I just wrote to them, hey, professor, I read your article and I love to collaborate with you, to work with you on this project. You have an opening for me as a graduate student in fall 2021, and I wrote about a lot of them. I wrote to a lot of the professors, and one of the professors replied. That was Professor Simrambanga at WKU. Then I was like, wow, that must be a voice of God that told me to reach out to professors on the research gate. So the professor reached out to me and said, oh, yes, send me your CV, send me your CV. Yeah, CV. I sent my CV to her. Then she go back to me and said, wow, that's great. We should have an interview. Then she gave me an interview. I was so happy. Like, then I had an interview with Professor Banga, and lo and behold, I got in. Then she told me to submit my GRE score. That is why having GRE before reaching out, TOEFL score. So because of my friends, I already had in mind that this is important, even
Yeah.
though it's masters or PhD, is biology, is engineering. I don't care. We're going to write GRE. So because I've written GRE before, and my TOEFL score was like 102. Then I have to submit the two scores to her. Then she was like, that's great. Then I got admitted to WKU. Yeah.
Wow. That is awesome. I don't know if it's Belinda who taught me that, or was that Shadrach? I can't remember. One of the guests between the two that I had on this platform that told me that opportunities like preparedness. You mentioned earlier that you had a goal to study abroad. You take the time to build a circle with friends who were also interested, who were like-minded friends, were also looking for opportunities to study abroad. You studied together, you prepared for the GRE, you took the test, and you reached out to a faculty member at Western Kentucky University and told them about the research. And you mentioned that you are also interested in working in that same research. And then they interviewed you and offered you some admission and also financial support to come to Western Kentucky University and get your master's degree. And that is one advice that I also share with our viewers. When you're trying to get into graduate school in the United States or overseas in the UK or Canada, and you are interested in research, the minimum thing that you can do is to look into the profile of the faculty members in your department of interest. If you're coming, for example, for computer science or biology, like Kayode, go to the biology webpage at the university, look at the profile of some of the faculty members, read the articles. What are some of the things that they've published that are of interest to you, areas that you too would like to investigate? And if you've already published articles, like in Kayode's case, reach out to that faculty members who has some research interest just like you. Tell them about their paper. Tell them specific points that you have read and maybe that they haven't touched, because when you publish a paper, usually there's some gaps that you mention, and you make some suggestions for future research and those kind of stuff. Identify those suggestions from the faculty members that you've identified and tell them that, yeah, you've read the article and this is an area that they didn't touch in that specific article that you would like to investigate. And this is some of your productions already. And as Kayode mentioned, gaining admission to graduate school, be it in a master's program or PhD program, if you have publication, it makes you stand out among so many applicants, because not many people engage in publication because it's not easy. And
Yeah.
if you take the time to conduct research and publish it, you definitely stand out, and it makes it easy for you to gain admission to any kind of university, usually with financial support as well. So
Can I come in this? Can I come in before
yes.
you continue?
Mhm.
If you
Yeah,
have to
go
read,
ahead.
let's for instance, you want to reach out to professors now. You want to reach out to professors, and you have in mind to reach out to like 20 professors in a week. So there are two ways to do that easily. the first way is the natural way, which is very tedious. You may read the papers, like 20 papers, 20 articles of those professors, different professors, and come up with that gap, as Yara Fatin have said. Come up with the gap and look at it, think about it. Or you can ask the AI to do that for you. Just upload the articles of the professors on ChatGPT and command ChatGPT to tell you the gap in these research articles, and it's going to give you the gap in each of these articles for each of the professors. Even ChatGPT can tell you, can summarize it for you in like 10 words. So you can make use of the AI, because we're currently in the generation of AI. So make use of it for your betterment, for improvement. You can use the AI to summarize the articles and ask an intelligent questions with the professors. But don't let that make you to be lazy, though. Just try to read up the articles. Yeah.
That is very, very important. With AI today, you can summarize hundreds of articles in just like a minute, you know.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned something very important too, do not just rely on AI.
Yeah,
It can summarize it perfectly for you, but make sure that at least read the conclusion of the article by yourself. Read some of the suggestions, the recommendations that the publisher has made, and reach out to them intelligently with some intelligent questions that are true to what they have said in their paper. Because sometimes AI can say some stuff that are not mentioned.
Hallucinate.
Yeah, yeah, in the summary that you've read. So, and if they identified that, you know, right in the first email that you sent to them, trying to get admission and work with them, they will be like, well, you are not a trustworthy student. You only rely on AI and you do not put some extra effort to actually read. But yeah, definitely make use of the tool. You can summarize it, but take the time. 5 minutes doesn't take too much time to read the conclusion with where you can find the recommendation for future research and so on and so forth. So do that, and we can not guarantee, but tell you that yes, your email will be seen, and with potential feedback from the faculty member that you have reached out to. Who is that faculty member? I can't remember the name of the faculty member at WKU that you mentioned who interviewed you. And
yeah, I work with Dr. Simran Banga.
Dr. Simran Banga?
Yes, Simran.
Okay, well, shout out to him if he is watching us. Oh, okay. Shout out to her if she's watching us by any chance. So now, tell us about admission. How did you interact with? Because as coming as an international student, you had to interact with some individuals at the university in order to get some documentation to be able to go to the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria and get your visa and come to the United States. How did that go?
Yeah, it's actually started with getting a response from the professor, like an email for an interview. Then I got an interview. Then from there, she encouraged me to start applying to the department. So I have to go to the department website and look for apply now or apply here, anyhow. So started my application. From there, I was asked to upload my documents, which is my CV, which is my SOP, the statement of purpose. We call it personal statement also. Also upload my test score, my GRE or TOEFL test score. Then after uploading those things, then I got a response from the department. Then I told the professor that I've applied, just as you said. Then I paid for application fee, which is like $95. So, and after that, then the professor reached back to me that okay, that I should wait. Maybe the department will give me admission or not. So the department gave me admission, and the same time they sent me a TA position. TA position, a teaching assistant position, which is full tuition waiver, so I don't have to pay school fees, drop a master's, and also stipends, which is the monthly stipends, which will come with the package, and also health insurance and others insurance that covers some of our health. Then, but now getting back, now after that, I have to reach out to the admission office or the global office or the international office for I-20 issuance, and I got my I-20 after submitting a proof of fund, which because the whole package doesn't cover everything, because in the US academic system, you have to show that you're financially buoyant for both tuition, for food, for housing, for textbooks, for everything, for health. So that includes what we call the cost of attendance. It's not just the tuition. The cost of attendance is a broad financial obligation of the student. So when I look at the cost of attendance and the total scholarship I was given, there's a gap. There's like $3,000 gap. So I have to show that in my account that I have that money to fill that gap. So after showing that financial statement, I got my I-20 from the international office. So get my I-20 from the international office. I sent my visa application process, fill up the DS-160 form and the other forms that are included. Register for book an appointment, my visa interview. I still remember the visa interview was in May, and I was born in May, so it was nice. So
Yeah.
I put an appointment visa interview, went for a visa interview in Lagos
Yeah.
and no, in Abuja. I did in Abuja. Then after that, my passport was sent back to me. My interview was approved after a lot of training, kind of mock interview with my friends. But my story is not complete without mentioning the Education USA in Abuja. So there's something in Nigeria that is called Opportunity Fund Program, OFP program, that the United States Embassy funds students, brilliant students in Nigeria to study abroad, but they don't pay your school fees. They pay your GRE, they pay your TOEFL, they pay your test score, they pay your application fees. So, and every
Wow.
year,
That is generous. What is that called? Opportunity Fund
Program. Yes, OFP. So
Okay.
every year they finance that. The US Embassy does that in Nigeria, and every year they select about 40 students in the whole Nigeria. So at that year I was selected as one of the students. So my GRE was refunded. My GRE money was refunded. My TOEFL was paid for, and my application fee was paid for, and my visa fee was paid for. My DS-160, everything was paid for. Even my flight to the United States was paid for
Oh,
by
that is so generous.
Yes. So I got all this by the help of Education USA Nigeria. And going for visa interview, the Education USA Nigeria also gave me mock. They gave me a lot of like mock, like shows to talk, talk with confidence, talk with this is it.
Yeah, so this is the thing, supporting high achieving international students. So if you're watching us from Nigeria, I don't know if this is a program that is available in some other African countries, but as Kayode mentioned, this seems to be a very, very generous opportunity, very generous program. It pays for almost everything, your GRE test, your air ticket, your different things that it pays for.
Application fees, TOEFL,
Wow, this is awesome.
everything. Pay for
So
everything.
yeah, just search it for yourself, Opportunity Funds Nigeria, and it's a program that is sponsored by Education USA. Look into it and reach out to some of the individuals in your home country. Yeah, we have here some of the beneficiaries in 2024, Abubakar, Nuhu, Elizabeth. So yeah, this is very generous. Shed more light about that. How did you hear about that program, Kayode?
Nice. That is where the circle of friends is important. So all my
definitely
all my friends got this program. Everybody, all my friends.
Wow.
Of us.
And this is the first time I'm hearing about this program.
Really? This is a very popular program among some set of people in Nigeria. So you have to, but I think you need to be publicized. I think they are trying their best to make it accessible to everybody. But yeah, it's due to the friends that I have. So we are able to get to know about this program since 2004. They started 2004. That's a long time ago. So, and we both applied. Of course, we work towards getting the profile that is required. We don't just say, "Oh, I'm done." We work towards the profile. What's next? To apply, get to the high performing student. So
Yes.
all of us, three of us got the offer. Education USA, and they all pay for our flight ticket, they all pay for our GRE, they pay for our TOEFL, they pay for everything. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Another important thing that you just mentioned about building the profile, because yeah, opportunities are out there. There are plenty of opportunities, and it's up to you to develop the vision to see those opportunities. But also, it is very important for you to build the profile, being prepared, as we mentioned earlier. This program is designated to support high achieving students. So it's not given to any type of student. And Kayode mentioned earlier that he was a top graduating student from high school. So naturally, he qualified perfectly for that type of program. So be sure that you build the type of profile that becomes compelling to gain those kind of opportunities. Good grades, that's very great. But beyond that, what I learned about the American education system is that a lot of institutions pay attention to what students or what a student does beyond just going to classes. They want to see how much you are involved in your community. They want to see what solutions you are bringing to some of the challenges, some of the issues in your community. So if you do some volunteer work, for example, with a nonprofit organization, or you start a business to address some issues in your community, that also counts towards what is considered a high achieving profile, a high achieving individual to gain or to benefit from some of those wonderful opportunities. So it is very important for you to take the time to build the profile, study hard, get involved in your community, and you will just get some of those wonderful opportunities. You will see that they will come to you naturally and very relatively easily.
Yeah, you are right, actually. So preparation is very key because the world is full of opportunities. The world is looking for who will contribute to something. But I want to also say that it's not just about natural brilliancy or natural gift. You get some people think they are not good because of their mindset. So if you can change your mindset from this is who I am to this is what I can become. So when you become, you can
Wow,
become something.
this is
You can become,
powerful.
yeah, you can become something. There's a power in that. There's a power of transformation in that. So you tend towards who I can become more than who I am because I want to become better. So you build opportunity, you build a profile so that you can become competitive and surround yourself with people of the same mind. And if you don't have those people around you, pray about it and look for people that talk about something that will stir up something in you, something great in you. Keep
Yeah.
them close around. I know these are the kind of people. It doesn't matter their color, their heights, their anything. Not any
Yeah.
social demographic information about them. It doesn't matter. What matters is about the growth. And you also don't be a receptor, just receiving. Also give out. Give out, help people. Like that reminds me when I was in Nigeria, 2019, I started a group of helping people to get an admission to the US. And right from there, people gain admission, and I was still in Nigeria. So I mentor people to get admission, but I was in Nigeria. So even somebody reached out to me and say, "This guy, do you know what you are doing? You're supposed to stop this, focus on your life." But because of the mind to help, to contribute,
Yeah. Yeah.
that kept going to create a group to help. So it's about you also contributing, not just to be a receptor.
Wow.
It's better to give than to receive. So use that principle also. Yeah.
A lot of wisdom, a lot of word of wisdom, and that's why Kayode, you know that I like talking to you. I like spending time with you. You said some very important things that I think are worth repeating. First, you mentioned that if we can change our mindsets from who we are to what we can become, the potential that we have, it can change the whole narrative. Uh, Getting away from stop doubting yourself, believing that you are not worth it, you can't do it. But if you are able to change that mindset and look into yourself and thinking on what you can become if you take some specific actions, you will see that it changes the course of history. And this is very, very powerful. And another thing that you mentioned is that we shouldn't focus on just receiving, taking. We should be also prone to give out. And in your own experience, you were mentoring people to get admission to US universities while you were still in Nigeria, first of all, struggling to get admission into a Nigerian university. But your heart of giving out didn't stop you, or didn't push you to be jealous of the people that you were helping to get admission to universities in the United States, overseas. And eventually, you ended up being here yourself. And as I mentioned, you became a very successful professional. You are on top of your game, as we say, in your field in sciences, working with one of the top institutions in the United States and in the world. Now, I want us to talk a little bit about the things that you did when you got to the United States, when you were at Western Kentucky University studying, and focusing now on your involvement beyond the courses that you were taking. Because one thing, as I mentioned, that American universities are looking for in their students is their involvement on their campuses. So beyond going to classes and doing your research, what were some of the extracurricular activities or programs that you were involved in, and how did those experiences shape the person that you have become, and how they helped you be successful during your academic journey in the United States and also in your professional life?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I can say that when I go to WKU, I interact with people, like with students like me, and with some professors, and I tend to be close to them, to know what I can contribute to them. And the way I built the community right in Nigeria, like friends, I also want to build that kind of good community, large volume, in a way that we can both share good ideas together. And also, that is what made me to become the vice president of the African Student Union in WKU. And from there, I was able to interact with a lot of Africans from different countries, from Nigeria. We form friendliness because we are in a new land. We have to remember why we are here. We have to remember our purpose and why you should do better. So we share ideas, we share information, we share minds together, we share money together, food, not just talk without action. So so friendship, community, that kind of thing. So I don't do much of football or playing soccer. I'm very low in that. But in other aspects of human interactions, I was able to be bond different students. Yeah, and last, I also joined community of white folks in the community, where I go to their house every Wednesday. We talk, we gist, we interact, from different countries. You see Asia, you see India, you see different African that will come together. We just discuss, talk. We go back on next week. We come again. You talk about things. You go back. So I, kept going to that house, that place, because the man that has the place invited everybody to come. So that helped me to interact with different people from different countries.
Yeah, awesome. Again, thank you so much for all the people who are watching us live right now. I want to take a moment to say thank you to one of my elder, Amadou Balbone, who is watching us from the Congo. Shout out to you, and I hope you are doing well. Thank you for tuning in. Again, you can continue typing in the comment where you're watching us from. And also, do not forget to share and tell your friends to join us. We are having a wonderful conversation, an inspirational conversation with Kayode, who is sharing with us his journey from Nigeria to the United States and to being on top of his game, working with one of the top health institution around the world, in the United States and globally. Kayode, beyond being involved with the African Student Union at WKU, and also the community of friends that you have built with the locals, what are some of the co-curricular, I would call them co-curricular activities that you also took advantage of, participating in conferences, presenting at conferences? Because as I said, I want this conversation to be educational, inspirational to the people who are watching, so that they too can learn from your journey and be as successful as you are, get admission to some top universities, scholarships, and then end up securing a very decent job after completion of the degree program. So what are some of the co-curricular activities that you took part in?
Yeah, let me first go back to the last comment you said, like successful. Yeah, I see myself as still growing, so I'm not yet like there completely. So I have places I'm still going, so I still keep pushing. So I'm not yet there.
Yes.
So, but we thank God for where we are. That where we are is not where we used to be. Yeah.
That is
So
the humble Kayode speaking. And let's say thank you again to Stephen Fadei, who is watching us from Lagos, and he said our guest is very inspiring. Thank you so much, Stephen, for joining us today. Yes, go ahead, Kayode.
Yeah, so you asked about extracurricular activities like conferences. So when I got to school, I want to do the best. You know, I wanted to do the best of what I can do. Anything. As a student, I talk to my advisor for available conferences. You know, I interact, research. I don't just say, yeah, this is what she asked me to do. I ask questions. I want to solve a problem. I was involved in the lab. I was involved, you know, going further beyond my thesis. I was involved in other projects that is not just my thesis. You know, I was able to also inspire others to do the same thing. So I attended conferences. I also joined the WKU homecoming program. You know, you have to carry the flag of Nigeria. You know, that kind of fun thing. I also joined, participate in the fun part of the university. You get so we started a journal club in the lab. We started in my own time, so we talk about journals, articles. So we talk about things that I've never learned before. You know, learn new things in the lab, learn new techniques. You know, get comfortable with the techniques and move forward. Even when there are challenges, you just keep moving forward. You just keep moving forward. You keep moving forward. Then I was involved in church activities also. So I don't want to take that away. I was also involved in church activities. So it also helped me to balance spiritually and academically, and so that I will not leave God and focus on research. So
We can't forget about God. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was able to balance the two of them together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. So, for our viewers, again, one thing that you should learn from Kayode's journey is that beyond going to class and getting good grades, he was involved in looking for conference opportunities, asking his professors about conference opportunities, submitting papers to attend and present at those conferences. Those are networking places that you should definitely take advantage of. Because if you limit yourself by just staying on campus, going to class, getting good grades, and interacting with just your peer student, and failing to go to those conferences where you meet with experts in your field, experts with whom you can do research, experts with whom you can get employment opportunities, you might feel like at some point that you didn't get a fulfilling experience during your academic journey in the United States or overseas. So make sure that you take advantage of those co-curricular activities, going to conferences, conducting research with some of your peers on campus, and traveling to present to different conferences as well. Now, Kayode, we lost you on the screen. I don't know if you're still with us. We've been talking for more than an hour now, and I want to change gear and talk about your professional experience. So you came to school at Western Kentucky University. You graduated with your master's degree in biology, and you were able to secure a full-time employment at one of the top research institution in the United States, which is Eurofin. And you can correct me if I'm not saying the name right. I think that's the first research company that you worked with after graduation. Is that right? And how were you able to secure that job opportunity? Okay, let me bring Kayode on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so so the question is that I got an offer at Eurofins as a senior scientist, right?
So yeah, that was your I think your first full-time employment after graduation. How were you able to get that opportunity at that prestigious institution?
Yeah, so
no worries. That happens, during lives. Some technical issues that we're having right now, but we will get that fixed. And again, continue sharing. We diving deeper now into Kayode's professional journey, how he was able to get some employment opportunities with some of the top institutions, not only in the United States, but in the world. So do share, like this live, and also invite your friends to join us. And you can continue typing in the comment section where you are joining us from. And one thing that you can learn from Kayode's journey is that he was a brilliant student. He was a top graduating student from Nigeria, and the humble Kayode doesn't want me to spend too much time talking about how genius he was, but that's a fact. It's true. When it's true, we're not boasting, we're not bragging. It's just a fact. You were a brilliant student. You graduated as a top student in Nigeria, and you were able to gain admission to a top university in the United States, which is Western Kentucky University. And I should mention that you and I went to that same school. And beyond that, you were able, upon graduation, to get a job at a top research institution, which is Eurofin. And am I saying the name correctly? And how were you able to get that employment opportunity?
Yeah, so I finished 2023 from WKU, and then so when the time comes for me to move forward, so asking myself, what should I do? Should I go for master? Should I go for PhD? Or I should work? Stuff like that. So I feel like let me explore the professional environment in the US first and see what it has, the content. So I started looking at profession in the US. So I look up for job. Then I applied for a lot of jobs, right? You have to apply for a lot of jobs. Most of the times in the US, we get one. So I got for a lot of jobs. Then I got like 3 offers. Then I just feel my spirit that I should go to Eurofins. So I went to Eurofins as a senior scientist in Eurofins. So this is where experience comes into play. Because in Nigeria, before I came to the US for my master's, I've already gotten like 3 years experience in the hospital before coming to the US. So after my bachelor degree. I spent 2 years to teach, right? Then I spent 3 years in research in Nigeria at the Bernhard Nocht Institute of Tropical Medicine. So we do research on Lassa fever virus, on hepatitis virus, so on viral infections for humans. So that experience, when I finished my master's, counted as part of my professional experience. So that's why I was able to get into senior scientist role at Eurofins in Pennsylvania. So, and it was fun. It was great. That was my first job in the US, and that's my first experience. And I had
as I said, you mentioned that. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I had like interviews before I came into the company as senior scientist, and the interview was smooth, was okay, and I met my my supervisor, my manager, and everything was good. Started working at Eurofins as a senior scientist. So there, what we work on is we test different drugs, new drugs, for human, test their potencies, to test their stability, and we test it on human cells. We test on human cells, we test on other proteins and see if they work or they're not working, because this testing is important for validation and for FDA approval. So that's what we work on different drugs. So I was so excited to see different drugs, new drugs coming out. We work on them to see if they works or not, if they're doing well, if they're safe for us, if they're not safe for us. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You mentioned that after graduation you applied to so many jobs. Did you keep count of the number of jobs you applied to?
Yeah, it came to an extent that you become habitual, right? So I just go to LinkedIn, just go to
Oops. We are losing Kayode again, but before he comes back, one of the challenges that many international students in the United States face is upon graduation, getting a job is, what gives a lot of us some headache. It's not easy. Sometimes you have to apply to hundreds of jobs. And one thing that I should mention also is that as an international student in the United States, once you complete your degree program, you are allowed to work full time anywhere in the United States in what is called OPT, optional practical training. And depending on your major, if you are a STEM major, you can work for up to 3 years. And if your employers are happy with your performance, then they can apply and extend for you to be able to stay in the United States and continue work. And if you are from a non-STEM major, then you are allowed to work full-time anywhere again in the United States for up to 1 year. And again, if your employer, so you need to be a high performer, you need to perform very well. And if your employers are satisfied with your performance, they can apply for some other type of opportunities for you to be able to continue working for them. Let me bring on Kayode again so that he can continue sharing what he was sharing with us.
Yeah, so sorry for the technical issues.
No,
So,
as I said, that happens sometimes.
so I'm so sorry. So I was saying that sometimes it become habitual to apply to jobs, just the way you apply to schools, for like many schools, and you get one schools. The same way you are looking for jobs, you may apply for like a lot of jobs at the same time. So you become habitual. I just go to LinkedIn and keep applying, keep applying. You lose count. So that's what happens to me. Just lose count. Just keep applying. Just keep applying. But one thing that stand out is that I made my resume very good without checking everything and make sure that what I have, I didn't forget my skills. Sometimes when you write a resume, you may forget some skills that you have. I say, just write something simple. So I have to make it nice to be able to be to stand out among other resumes. So when I got calls, I got a lot of calls of job offers and a lot of restrictions. Some of them said no, some of them say yes. So I got like 3 offers. So I have to like I went for one, which is the Eurofins, because I feel like I will gain more experience there, right? I'll gain my experience there, and
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when you were studying at Eurofin, you went there and you work on, testing drugs and so on and so forth. But you did not stay with that company that long. And the reason is because you got one of the, I would say, one of the extraordinary opportunities to work with NIH, National Institutes of Health. That is a well-known health organization in the United States and around the world. I believe Anthony Fauci worked for that company. I mean, he's acclaimed by some and also debunked by others. But how did you end up finding or getting a job at the top health organization in the world?
Yeah, that's a question that people ask me most of the time, but I want to say first, I thank God for the opportunity, for this opportunity. And what there's something that was in my mind when I was studying microbiology in Nigeria, like in 2012, 2018. What was in my mind is that I don't want to just study for studying's sake. You know, this kind of trend in Africa that you study bachelor, master's, PhD, then they ask you, why are you studying these things? Say, no, I want to be at the top of my career. Why? I don't have the reason, but I just want to be at the top. No. So for me, I have a definite reason, objective. Like, I want to develop vaccine. Like, I want to study microbiology, yes. I don't want to just come and speak jargons and just be talking about the names of microorganisms and everybody say, wow, you are brilliant. No, I want to contribute to solutions. I want to bring something from what I've studied. So, and how can I do that? Study microbiology, you know, I now think about it. I want to be developing vaccine. I want to contribute to vaccine development. And that was one of the reasons why I got the job at the hospital in Nigeria for like 3 years through a referral of my supervisor. So I was also working with the person working on Lassa fever virus vaccine. So with that mindset, so what I want to say is that what we have in our mind plays out, like they play out as in life. So right in Nigeria, right when I was in my bachelor degree, I didn't know I will have the opportunity to work on vaccine. But then I was thinking, I want to work on vaccine. I want to develop vaccine. I want to contribute to something. I say, yes, I did that. You get, and the life story unrolled in my front, you know, and everything was going towards vaccine. So my first job in the lab was working on Lassa virus vaccine, then work on COVID vaccine. Then I got into Eurofins. Eurofins was not working on vaccine, so that kind of deviation from
From your
from
initial
my,
goals.
yeah. So, but
Uh-huh.
I still enjoy Eurofins because I have experience with different drugs and how to test different drugs. Then that passion still comes, like I want to work on vaccine. Then an offer I saw, you know, something just drive me. Why can't you go back to LinkedIn and keep applying? Then
Yeah.
I kept applying, and I want to say something. I I jumped into NIH, and normally people will tell me that no, you don't apply to NIH. No, no, don't try it because you are an
Yeah.
international student.
Yeah, you can get into that. Yeah.
Don't get into that. Big
Mhm.
people, great people wanted to get into that. You cannot do that. But I don't know, one way or the other, my eyes was not looking at the name like big. I just say, let me just put in my application. Then I put in my application on LinkedIn. All my jobs I got from LinkedIn.
Mm.
I put in my application on LinkedIn, and see, I was called. The first call I had on the NIH job, I thought this was a spam call, a scam call.
You couldn't believe that, yeah, NIH would call you for an
Yeah, I couldn't
interview.
believe that. Yeah, call me like you. In fact, I forgotten that I applied sincerely to NIH because it's like you applied like 3 months ago and they just called you now, that kind of thing, right? So I just got a call like you applied to NIH, so and so. I said, okay. So from the conversation, it started going on, and say I will have an interview with the directors very soon. I say, directors, me. So from there,
Wow.
I, you know, STEM OPT allow you to work for 3 years. So since I have a work authorization to work anywhere in the US, including the NIH, so, and I got the opportunity to work on vaccine development. So right now, by God's grace, I'm working on malaria vaccine. So we're trying to develop vaccine towards malaria. And in the lab, that's what we do. I'm in the immunology department. So, and I got in, and it's just through divine purpose and also what lays in my mind long time ago. Like this is what I wanted to do long time ago, and this is what I'm doing now. So what we look, and let me tell you something. What we think in our heart comes to pass, no matter how we think it is. No matter if you think you want to do this, you love to do this, you will do that one day.
Yeah, somehow the law of attraction.
Yes, because
Mhm.
what another thing that happens to me in life, that validates that point is that when I was in the school, in my bachelor degree, because I was so broke, because I, I sponsored myself to school, I paid my school fees myself, everything throughout my bachelor degree. So I'm a fourth generation student. So during those periods, I was so tired, tense. I just thought to myself, like, if I could just finish and get a job of 30,000 naira, that's a very small money, but it's like, let me just finish my bachelor and get a job of 30,000 naira. I'll be fine. And you know something? My first job was 30,000 naira.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that is a true definition of the law of attraction. You
Yeah.
thought of getting your bachelor's degree and securing a 30,000 naira job, and you graduated, and that's exactly what you got.
I'm telling you. So I didn't have expanded my mind. I said, oh, I just feel like just graduate and just get a job at NIH. Maybe my journey would have been faster.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, that's definitely a very inspiring journey and a very interesting experience. And you're right. Sometimes we just self-censor ourselves, be it gaining admission to some schools. I've personally been a victim of that sometimes. I've sometimes thought about applying to schools like Harvard, Princeton, Yale, but I've always doubted myself, and I never applied to any of those schools because I'm like, well, I don't think I have what it takes to gain admission to those schools. But I know that that shouldn't be how we think. As you said, the law of attraction can be true, and sometimes it will just refrain you from taking action if you think that you cannot be hired to work with the NIH. You will never apply. If
Yeah.
you do not think that you can gain admission to Harvard, in my case, for example, you will never apply it. And I thought about applying to Harvard, but I never did because I thought that I'm not built to go to that prestigious university. And to our watchers, those who are listening to us today, this is not what you should do. You shouldn't be like me. Listen to Kayode's experience. He started working with Eurofins, and he knew that deep down, the work he's doing with Eurofin, although it was, very transformational, you grew professionally, you tested drugs, but deep down, you knew that you had a goal, which was to develop vaccines. And there's an institute in the United States that does that. But it is a very tough organization to get into, to be hired to work with. And you randomly went on LinkedIn and came across that job offer, and you just decided to, yeah, give it a try. You sent in your resume, your cover letter, and they ended up calling you for an interview. And that tells us that we shouldn't stop doubting ourselves, stop doubting our capacities, our capabilities, and just give it a try. And the worst thing that can happen is just to know if you want to go to Harvard, just apply. And the worst thing, as I said, that can happen is, well, we're sorry, but we had a lot of applications that were better than yours and something of the sort. And yeah, keep applying, but yeah, keep applying, keep applying. Do not self-censor, never do that. Because in Kayode's case, as he said, a lot of people were telling him, why do you think you can work with the NIH? And here he is today working with that same organization. That is very inspirational. Kayode, it's been almost an hour and a half that we're talking. I know that, as I said, I love talking to you, and we can talk indefinitely, but I know that you're currently attending a conference in North Carolina, and you have a very busy schedule. I don't want to keep you any longer, but if there is, concluding words that you want to share with our viewers, what would that be, on how they too can build the type of profile that you have built to gain not only admission to Western Kentucky University with a lot of financial support, and beyond that, you were also able to get employment at some of the top organizations in the world. What would be those concluding words?
Yeah, so if I want to tell anyone anything, it'd be like, about one, don't self-doubt. Don't self-doubt. Number two, know where you are currently. You have to realize where you are. You get not just cloud assumptions or conceptual where you are. Know where you are and know where you want to go. Like, know where you're supposed to be and what's the gap between you. Then build up the bridge between the gap. Don't just stay here, look at that side, and I can never be there. So there's a connection, there's a link between the two of them. Secondly, is that in your mind, think of good things. Think of what you wish to be, and appreciate the moment where you are. Don't just say everything is bad, everything is bad. Appreciate where you are currently, and your mind desire good things, desire making impact in your world. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be in STEM to make impact in your world. You can be writing poems, you can be musicians, you can be anything, but make sure that you have that drive within you to contribute to the world, and also surround yourself with people of like mind. Not that everything they tell you are going to do is just like energy. When you have energy, people of right energy coming together, that force is good on yourself, for you to move forward. That force is important. So that is why you have to also help people to build that energy. Tell them to look beyond where they are right now so they can move forward beyond where they are. So the whole thing is just that don't limit yourself, and don't let anybody limit you based on your gender, based on your tribe, based on your color, or based on anything. You can do all things through Christ, and you can do all things when you have the mind, that will, that you want to do it. Then when you have the will and there's no resources, then the will push you towards where the resources. But if you don't have the will and there is the resources, you will mismanage the resources. So when you have the will will push you towards where the resources. Like in my case, my will push me towards Education USA, to know that there's Education USA, there are resources, a lot of money there to help people that have the will. So that will push you towards places like that, push you towards people that can help you. Even people in the US helped me to pay some of my application fee. There's a pastor in Ohio that paid for my TOEFL test because he saw the passion, he paid for it. I never knew him. Even the first time I met him physically when I went to Ohio, I said, "Sir, you don't know I paid for my TOEFL." He said, "I've forgotten." So your will drive you towards the resources. So don't look for resources. First, the will. Work
Yeah.
on the will. Then you can do all things through that. If somebody says you wake up in 2 a.m. to write a SOP, your will make you to wake up. If there's no light in your house, your will make you to find a generator, or to find a friend have a generator, to buy a laptop. Even the laptop is not expensive, just to buy something, to start working on something. Your will drive you away from negative people, like bad guys that can influence you. So there's a lot of things that your will can push you towards to achieve. Yes. And also prayer, because I know I prayed also before I get to WKU.
Yeah. Wow, that is such an inspiring conclusion. First of all, stop doubting yourself. Believe in you. Believe in your competence. Believe in your capacity. See the world from some positive lenses, and just quit doubting that you cannot do this or that, because you can do anything. As you mentioned, with the Lord, of course. Second thing that he mentioned is also having the will, what I would call purpose, setting goals, having clearly defined purposes in life, is very important. And your purpose, your goals, your wills will drive you towards the opportunities that you are looking for. If you want to study in the United States, or you want to study in Canada, or you want to study in the UK, surround yourself with like-minded people who've already been on that journey, or who also want to be on that same journey, so that you create that positive energy with those like-minded individuals that would push you to find the opportunities where they are. And remember, as I mentioned, there are opportunities everywhere around you. It is up to you to develop the vision to see those opportunities. And you do that by building a circle with like-minded individuals. And finally, as Kayode mentioned, praying. It's good to have goals. It's good to have self-confidence, but it is also very important to pray on the accomplishment of your goals. Because having purposes, having goals without prayer is sometimes just, gonna be in vain. So believe in yourself, surround yourself with like-minded people, pray, 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 keep applying, and opportunities will find you. Thank you so much once again, Kayode, for your time. And thank you to all the people who stayed tuned with us. Kehinde, Ajay, thank you for the comment, and thank you to all the viewers. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, please do so. We will continue bringing every other week some inspiring individuals just like Kayode to share their experiences with you, so that you too can gain admission, scholarships, and employment opportunities in the United States and around the world. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye. Thank you, Fatim, for inviting